So can we also describe it as the classical double bind?
Okay, just explain the double bind for those who don't understand.
Yeah, the double bind in a sense that you have a loyalty to keep your parents safe, to keep because they are bigger than you, but you also have a kind of a loyalty to self that you feel unsafe and you want to do something about it. But it's like you are between the rock and a hard place. You actually cannot move anywhere and you feel stuck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only do you feel stuck, it is a situation that there's too many loyalties going on. And then also in the systemic work, now we're looking at your first love. And this recollection of first love is not, shall I say, a safe recollection of first love. But let's look what this does for future relationships. So there is this, once my cousin's out of the house, I'm safe again, but my relationships are no longer safe from there onwards. It is there's always this barrier between what is love, what is lust, what is the next step. And that insecurity in intimacy is then something. So again, we have the situation where this is an element that happened, but what goes forward is a behavior pattern that affects all other relationships.
Yeah. So I think that's worth unpacking in more detail, the going forward part. But if we just go one or two steps back, if we label it as what is the anatomy of abuse, it's almost, if I listen to the story, it's almost like within you, the subject, there's this need for intimacy. There's this need for belonging. There's this need for recognition, for receiving a message to hear you are okay, you are beautiful, you are loved. So there's this inner yearning to hear these impulses from the safety of the family system. And yet you have a very complicated head start because you're an adopted child. You actually don't belong. And that must sit in the subconscious, even if you don't really know it consciously. Must sit in the subconscious. And then the next step of the anatomy of the seduction or the abuse is that he says alluring things to you. He says beautiful things to you. He makes you feel as if you can trust him. There are expressions that you hear that makes you feel attracted, but then at the same time, it has to be kept a secret. So it must be wrong. So again, it's this absolute bipolar kind of impulses that hits the young subconscious mind, and confusion reigns.
And the thing is, the confusion is already, I'm always wrong anyway. And I have no trust in my own judgment. Am I right, or can I trust that this is not okay? But then what is okay and what's not okay? So it's the thing is, it's just another form of abuse in a sense. And then that's part of the norm. So why would other abuse be not okay and this be okay? So, or other abuse be okay and this not be okay? So because abuse is the norm, this just becomes another pattern of the norm. It is okay. I don't have validation anyway. So especially with my cousin, it was a case of you are nothing anyway. So nobody will hear you, nobody will listen to you. And but there's also the realization that this is not part of the norm that I want to have. But then what becomes the norm is the insecurity in the relationships with any other future potential partner. There's then also it sets a stage of if there is a good feedback, then that's dangerous, because my first good feedback became dangerous. So do I trust positive feedback from anybody? Because that's dangerous. So then the partnerships go into what is the norm, because I know how to handle the norm. I know how to survive the norm. But when something is good, it gets like, that's dangerous. Can't believe that. I can't believe that somebody could be really good to me or really have a positive relationship with me.
So healthy flirtation is dangerous.
Yes.
Is a
Absolutely.
signal that you have to be careful.
Yes. Becomes a warning signal.
Yeah.
So that throws a positive relationship into a dangerous light.
Yeah.